So that's when I came across these alternate forms of calming the mind, which was through visualization, through breathing in a certain way. And because I noticed a shift within about 10 minutes, I thought, if this is possible for me in 10 minutes, what else is out there?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show again, Connect the Dots. Today, I'm joined by my friend Aditya Jaykumar. Welcome to the show, AJ. How are we doing today?
Doing great. How are you doing, Alex?
Doing really, really great. So today, everybody, we are talking about how do you relieve stress with alternative healing and spirituality. What does that mean? Really, we're going to dive into what breath work can do for you. We're going to talk about the science and the spirituality side of it all and how it all blends together to really help you alleviate stress, especially during these uncertain times right now where anxieties and stress and uncertainty is at an all-time high around the world. So without further ado, a little bit about AJ. Do you mind if I call you AJ?
Of course.
All right, here we go. So AJ started off his journey in about 2015 as a personal challenge, which to me is dear and home to me because I also started my podcast as a personal challenge. And holy smokes, what a ride, right, AJ?
Oh, yeah. It is a ride for sure.
You got it. So as a personal challenge, it ended up becoming a business venture, which is amazing. He is the creator and host of my Seven Chakras podcast, which if you haven't already, definitely go and check that out on Apple Podcasts, anywhere. And he is basically creating a captivated audience from scratch, right? He has over 350 produced episodes, which is amazing. 350. Couldn't imagine. And he has about 150 listeners in different countries from around the world. Sorry, 150 countries from around the world, not listeners. And so today we're going to dive into that, and I'm going to ask the first question. Here we go, AJ. You ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Here we go. So what exactly is alternative healing and spirituality to you?
That's a great question, first of all. Alternative healing to me, as the name suggests, is just looking for alternative pathways or more natural pathways, more intuitive pathways to healing the body. And to me, that is yoga, because what we're now realizing is that our ancient elders spent a lot of time experimenting and trying different techniques and practices and methods to calm the mind, to relax our nervous system, which is so important, and to really experience bliss states, states of joy, states of happiness. And that's something that I'm sure a lot of your audience and listeners also want. Spirituality, what is spirituality? Well, spirituality can be summarized or known better through the actual outcome or the goal of yoga. The goal of yoga is to go beyond your ego self or your personal identity and connect with oneness and to realize that you're not just alone, but you are part of this wonderful, beautiful collective Gaia, or you're part of the planet, right? You're not just this individual being. And so that's to me spirituality, is realizing that we're not just this physical meat bags that we're occupying right now, but there's a sense of eternalness, if that's even a word, to us. So that's spirituality.
Wow, that's beautifully said. Thank you for that. And
Thank you.
if I may add my personal experience, this spirituality side of it all really helped me in my work.
Right.
Knowing that everything that I create isn't just for myself,
Right.
right? And knowing that, just because I create a podcast, it doesn't stop with me. It kind of ripples around the world, and I create it for the purpose of, helping those that actually listen. And when they listen with an open mind, with an open heart, they're able to get so much more.
Very true.
Right.
Very true. I mean, just to add, we as creators, you and me, and everyone who's creating right now, are literally just sowing seeds, right? We don't know when the seed is going to germinate or who is going to listen to our podcast or our video vlog around the world. But just at the right time, the right person who has the right pain or challenge listens to our podcast and reaches out. And that's when you're like, you know what? It's a good thing that I created that podcast that many months or years back, because look what happened.
Definitely. Totally. It's funny. I was having a conversation the other day with one of my clients,
Mm.
and he said, the stuff you're doing, it's changed me in ways that I never thought it could possible.
Right.
And I'm sure you've had similar experiences too, where you have people saying, you have all this content. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And oh my God, my heart was super warmed just listening to that, right?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
makes it totally worth it. So
Absolutely.
speaking of making it worth it,
Mm.
how did you even get into this? I know it was a personal challenge,
Mm.
right? But what makes a person want to wake up, find over 350 people to interview,
Yeah.
and share with the world?
Yeah, that's a good question. And my journey actually began a long time back, sometime in 2008. I've not shared this a lot, but I'm sharing this more and more these days. I had an accident, a road accident, where that specific day I did not wear a helmet, and at the cross section, I ended up hitting a van, and so a lot of bloodshed. Admitted to hospital, unconscious. Woke up, I think the next day, and it was traumatic. Just to realize, just imagine you wake up and you've got bandages all over your face. What does to your psyche? Because we are so used to look in the mirror and get a sense of who we are. And so I realized down the months I was able to heal physically to a certain extent, but from an emotional and a spiritual level, I was looking for ways to heal and to release and to clear off some of that trauma that I just felt was deep within me. I tried meditation, but for some reason that wasn't coming naturally to me. It was difficult. It's so difficult, as your audience might be able to relate to control the thoughts that are going on in your mind. And so that's when I came across these alternate forms of calming the mind, which was through visualization, through breathing in a certain way. And because I noticed a shift within about 10 minutes, I thought, if this is possible for me in 10 minutes, what else is out there? And in those days, I wasn't really passionate about writing stuff, like writing a blog. And I thought maybe speaking might not only be more fun, but also an opportunity to improve my skills. So that's what made me start. I did not know that I would end up creating 376 episodes, but I thought, you know what, let's just try it for a bunch of episodes. And one thing led to the other, and it became fun. So that's how I ended up starting my podcast.
Nice. Awesome. And that's something that I want to hit home too.
Mm,
What you enjoy, you get good at, and what you're good at, you enjoy.
very true.
So making it fun, and I too am having so much pleasure making these episodes with amazing people like yourself.
Yeah.
For those who are listening, coaches, entrepreneurs, business owners, there are tons of people who are doing podcasts.
Mm,
It's a scary idea to get into a market where there's so many people and it's saturated and you're like,
yeah.
oh, who's going to listen to me? But once you get over that fear and realize that, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's bigger than me,
Mm.
right? And you know how your work has affected you. So tell your story, spin it in your way, and maybe take the best elements like you're doing right now
Right.
from these amazing people, from yourself and those that you meet,
Yeah.
and make it into your own experience. That's really key, right?
Absolutely. And just to add, I mean, I think you hit the nail over here because people love stories. We as human beings, we've evolved getting to know stories. Shamans and elders would sit around the fireplace and tell stories. That's how we are able to digest information. But it's important to make it personal. Like in my case, I looked around and at a certain point I felt insignificant. I said, I'm so different from a lot of people around. What do I have to bring to the world, right? And then I realized, you know what, I'm from India. I've got certain connections to yoga, to Ayurveda, and growing up in a community where my dad was Hindu, my mom was Christian, so I might bring something unique to the spiritual world because I can draw from the Bible and I can draw from the Bhagavad Gita. So find something that's unique to you. Why should people listen to you? And what ultimately will make you happy? Like, I love this conversation that we're having because I'm not worried about looking stupid or making like this error in pronunciation. I'm just being me, and you are being you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm trying to be at least, right? um, that's awesome. Being yourself. And a lot of
Yeah.
people, and I've worked with a lot, who
Yeah.
aren't actually comfortable with being themselves.
Yeah.
It saddens me because so many people bring so much to the table,
Right.
but they discredit their past successes and
Ooh.
not being able to like bring that to the surface and speak their story,
Yeah.
right? Just like yourself, just like myself.
Yeah.
So if you're watching, You got to do it because you may have heard it a long time or a lot of these times nowadays where you hold these stories and each story holds a lesson.
Yeah,
And if you keep that to yourself, that's kind of selfish if you think about it.
it is.
Somebody wants to hear that story, right?
Hmm.
So don't discredit yourself. And I want to dive into more about this whole concept of stress relief,
Mm.
okay, and spirituality.
Yeah.
You've done it for yourself. You did it for 10 minutes. You're saying, oh my God, my life has changed. I mean, for those who are listening, you may know things like, lighting a candle,
Mm.
taking some caffeine in, writing down on a journal, chewing gum, these kind of things, right? So what has worked for you specifically, and how do you teach this to others?
Yeah. So what has worked for me is, if you look at yoga, so yoga has this eightfold path to getting to a state called samadhi, which is where you're connecting with the universe, you're connecting with the Tao, right? Now, a lot of people, they go straight to step number 6 or 7, which is meditation. And that was me. I found it hard to meditate. But earlier down the pathway, you have what is called breath work. So the ancient elders knew, hey, you know what? It's going to be hard to control your thoughts directly. How about you start learning how to control your breath first? And then we progress towards controlling your mind. So that's worked for me really well. And people have really responded wonderfully to this. In the Latin language, when you want to say breathe in, you say inspirar, right? Which sort of alludes to the fact that when you breathe consciously, you can get inspiration, you can get ideas and nuggets of wisdom, you can get opportunities. And this, think about what this means for entrepreneurs and creators. You breathe consciously, you get beautiful ideas that you can bring out to the world. When you breathe out, that is expirar. Now, expirar is expire. In other words, when you breathe out too much, you die. But in the form of breath work that I do, when you say expirar, you breathe out and you hold your breath. You're literally pressing pause on your breathing and on your life, and you're able to influence your physiology in a certain way that leads to calmness, that leads to relaxation, that leads to bliss states. But it has to be done gradual. You can't just hold your breath directly. It's a process.
Right. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the work that I do with some people, and this may resonate with you, is the somatic responses that our body is giving us
Mm.
are continual signals that are saying, hey, I'm feeling good,
Yeah.
or hello, you need to either do or see something differently,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so, talking about this inspirar, and you said expirar, right? Did I
Expirar. Yeah.
pronounce that? I pronounced
Sounds
that
nice,
right?
right?
It sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
The thing that distinguishes us
Mm.
from animals
Yeah.
and wild animals and all that
Yeah.
is our ability to have that self-awareness,
Mm.
to say, I'm going to breathe right now, and I'm going to pay attention to what that breathing is doing to my body and where I need to add more oxygen, wherever it is it needs to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
So you're saying we as humans, our monkey minds is what I kind of call it.
Mm.
It's natural.
Yeah.
You've used breath work to use these inspirar and expirar to calm that.
Yeah.
So what happens after you've calmed the monkey, right?
Mm. Well, after you calm the monkey, first of all, you feel good, right? Isn't that what a lot of people are looking for? You just want to feel good. You just want to feel good about yourself. You want to feel joyful. And a lot of people feel you need to earn a level of money before you deserve happiness. You need to have that beautiful relationship before you deserve happiness. You need to have 2 babies before you deserve happiness. But the truth is that happiness is right now. Unless you feel happy, you won't feel compelled and motivated and inspired to bring your vision to the world. So, we look at the thing the other way around, right? You don't need to get that to be happy. You first need to be happy because that'll be put you in a state of accomplishment, if that's what you want, or put you in the state of just gratitude for everything that you already do have in your life. And to your point, yes, humans are perhaps the only animals that can not only become self-aware but can voluntarily adjust our breathing. And because we can adjust our breathing, we can take control of our life. And there are so many myths that are propagated in the world of breathing. And for one, always assumed that we need to breathe in a lot because we need oxygen. But did you know that no, we do not need a lot of oxygen? In fact, for the most part, if you look at the diluted level of oxygen, the SpO2 in our body, it is usually 98 to 99%, which means we have a lot of oxygen. What we are missing is carbon dioxide. So, just like when you put out a piece of metal out in the air because of too much of oxygen, it leads to rust. If you breathe in an improper manner, which leads to too much of oxygen, you can have what is called oxidative damage. Free radicals attacking your own organs, your own systems, that leads to chronic disorders, that leads to discomfort, which is why you need to breathe correctly. And I can share more, but I'll just share one quick tip that ensures that you breathe properly. Firstly, when you're breathing, always breathe in through the nose. Breathe out. Now, during the day, you can breathe in and out through your nose, but during breath work, we breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Right? And the reason for which you breathe through the nose is because have evolved in a certain way. When you breathe in through the nose compared to the mouth, you're breathing in less. So you're taking in less oxygen, just in enough amount of oxygen. Secondly, when you breathe in through the nose, you have these filters that filter the air. You're getting better quality air. Thirdly, when you're breathing into the nose, your nose is warming the air. So it's going into the body in a better manner compared to the mouth. And four, this is what a lot of people don't know, but when you breathe into the nose, you are actually creating nitrous oxide. Now, what the nitrous oxide does, it goes into your body, facilitates the sending of oxygen from the nose, from the lungs, and into your bloodstream. And as you all know, when you have oxygen that goes into the mitochondria, you can create energy more effectively. So, guess what? You get more energy. And that's what a lot of people want, right? So, breathe in through your nose, out through the mouth when you're doing breath work, but throughout the day, breathe in and out through your nose, not through the mouth.
Oh, I love that. Breathing through the nose, not the mouth. These small little shifts
Small thing, yeah,
end up to be exponential results in
for
the end,
sure.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I would love to touch on this concept of heating it up. Now, in my studies, breathing is similar to like the foods you eat as well,
Very true.
right? So your body wants to heat it up so it can absorb what it is it needs to get from the nutrients, right? Oxygen is one. But for me, and the listeners, if you listen to this, if you notice a difference of how you feel when you're eating a smoothie, a cold
Yeah.
smoothie, versus a nice hot bowl of soup, your body wants to naturally heat that smoothie up to absorb those nutrients. But the soup is already hot.
Yeah,
And it takes less energy, for one, to heat the soup up, and two, it absorbs inside your body as well.
very true.
And I don't know if this hits home with you as well, but physiology, you touched on that, right? Physiology, I have a fun experiment for you, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but basically if you cross your arms and you look down and you say, I'm happy. Does it work? No, right?
No.
And another one is you put your hands on your hips and you look up and you say, I'm so sad. Funny, right?
Yeah.
Our bodies are telling us what to do.
Yeah.
And physiology and the breath work, I love it because it's these small things that we just need to become aware of to know that, hey, we don't need to suffer this stress. We
Yep.
don't need to go through all this crap that the world is throwing at us.
Yeah.
And one
Yeah.
also point you hit also was happiness is within.
Is within.
Happy first, man, is what I say. Happy first, and then do anything you want.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a system. You got the happiness here. What goes in comes happy out.
Yeah.
If you got the crap system here, crap goes in, crap comes out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Nice.
Have you have you studied Ayurveda?
I have not. What is that?
Because it seems like you're sharing concepts from Ayurveda, because you spoke about, you sort of alluded to the fact that your breath is like your food, right? And Ayurveda does say that. So Ayurveda talks about fire in particular, and it says there are different types of fire. One fire is the fire in your stomach, which is the fire needed to digest your food. And in order to better digest your food and make better use of the fire, you need to chew your food properly, right? So it goes in and you digest your food, because ultimately what you need is energy. The other type of fire, so that is called Jatar Agni. Agni means fire, but So the fire in your stomach is Jatar Agni. The breath fire is called Pran Agni. In other words, this is a fire. You're essentially taking the oxygen, right? And you're burning the oxygen in the mitochondria, the powerhouse of your self, right? To release carbon dioxide energy in the form of ATP, but also water vapor. And so, if you need that energy, like you sort of alluded to, ensure that the fire that you're taking in, the fuel that you're taking in, is good quality, it's warm, and is easily usable by the powerhouse of your cell.
Oh, beautiful. No, I didn't know those concepts or those words, but I'm feeding my soul and my mind right now.
Yeah.
My experience was actually with Vipassana meditation.
Okay.
So that's where I got many of the concepts. And if you haven't done it already, maybe something you want to look into, as well as AJ's stuff that he offers. But a lot of the meditation had to do with breath work, breathing,
Right.
noticing what the breath goes in. And really, it alludes to the concept of sophrology, right? So in its essence, sophrology is a structured method created to produce optimal health and well-being, right? And it consists of a series of easy-to-do physical and mental exercises. So sophrology in its core, in its essence, and it stems from the Greek. Sos is harmony, phren is consciousness, and ology, well, like any ology, is a study of, right? So the harmony and consciousness of mind and body is really what it touches on. But thank you for sharing that. And I'm so happy to hear that there's so many overlaps between what you're teaching and what I've learned, because what I've noticed is nowadays these things are so accessible,
Yeah.
right? You go on the internet, you punch in breath work. How do I breathe? Funny, right? How do you breathe? It's something we do naturally every day,
Yeah.
but we got to learn how to do that.
Exactly.
But thank you for that. And so, is there anything else you would maybe give advice to the audience if they wanted to start off on this breathwork journey?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I could share something that I'm sure a lot of your listeners would find useful. And one of the things that a lot of us find it hard is to get quality sleep, right? Some people just find it hard to sleep. Like 1:30, 2 a.m. in the morning, they're trying to sleep, but they're not able to sleep. Some people get sleep, but not quality sleep. And so sleep, I think, is something that people are looking for: restful, healing sleep. And to get into that technique, before sharing into that technique, what I wanted to share before was a little bit of the background. Because if you look at the autonomic nervous system of our body, we've got two systems. We've got the sympathetic nervous system, which is a fight or flight, which means if there was a tiger back in the day trying to attack us, then we can't rationalize that decision. We can't say, is the tiger a good tiger or a bad tiger? Does it have good intentions or bad? You got to run, right? So the energy has to be in your hands, in your legs, because you need to get out of there. And so when you were like 5 kilometers from that tiger, you don't need to be that stressed out, because the energy that is in your legs and hands needs to go back into your stomach so you can digest, into your body so you can boost your immunity, but also into your brain so you can think logically and draw these cave paintings that you've been thinking about doing for the last week or so. And so these days, obviously, we don't have a tiger, but what we are running from are deadlines. We are learning from our boss, because that boss is always on our email or phone. We are running from people who are bullying us, maybe, or people in our own family that make us feel like bad. So we need a technique by which we can automatically switch off that stress response, that negative stress response, so that we are able to relax in the evening when we need that energy to digest our food and, most importantly, to go to sleep. So to help us do that, there's a nerve in our body called the vagus nerve. I'm not sure if you've heard that, but that vagus nerve connects our brainstem. It's the longest nerve. Connects our brainstem to our throat, to our chest, to our stomach. Goes all the way down. If we are able to somehow stimulate that vagus nerve, vagus stems from the word wandering. So it's literally wandering all across our body and is connected to all our major organs. So if you stimulate that nerve, it sends a harmonizing, relaxing signal all across our body, allowing us to sleep. Right? So the type of breathing style that I recommend for this is called a 4 by 8 technique, where you're breathing in through the nose for 4 counts, but you're breathing out through the mouth for 8 counts. Now, it's not going to be super easy, but it takes a little practice. Okay. Now, something that will amplify this experience is if you start humming on the way out. Humming automatically activates the vagus nerve. So you could do it like in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, another thing to remember when you're breathing out, breathe out like you're breathing out through a straw. When you add some resistance to the out breath, you are, again, amplifying your relaxation response. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out as if you're breathing out through a straw. Okay, so in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm just going to demonstrate. Any type of mantra or tune. So you can do Om as well. And you do this for 2 minutes, you cannot help but feel relaxed, feel calm, and feel completely blissed out. I did it yesterday. I was doing a live stream for my audience. I did this session, and then I went on my computer. Within 10 minutes, I was feeling sleepy. I didn't realize it. Then I said, "Oh, it's because I did that type of breathing. No wonder I'm feeling so sleepy." But yeah.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Holy smoke. Actually, the one breath already calmed my nerves down.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just following you a second ago, I'm like, holy smokes, what's going on here? My shoulders dropped. I felt the weight lift. So this technique's real, folks. I just did it just a second ago, and I felt the relief within a few seconds. So if you're into it, and if you're open-minded, please try this technique out. And I want to thank AJ for this because it's such a great gold nugget to share with the folks here, right?
Absolutely.
And with that said, I would love to jump to the next section of the show, which is called Rapid Fire. Are you ready to go?
All set.
Awesome. Perfect. So we want to get to know you a little bit better. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Give me the first answer that comes to the top of the mind. And here we go. Are you ready? Excellent. Question number 1. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your former self?
Start creating.
Beautiful.
Make videos, make podcasts, draw. Don't worry about fear. Just start creating.
Nice.
Google is going to get launched.
Beautiful. Question number 2. What is the worst job you could have?
That's a tough one. Because I've grown to believe that no matter what job you have, you always have something to learn from it. I'd say that the worst job is a job where you do not have any transferable skills. And so, because I believe that you're not your job, so even if it's a job you don't like, find out what is that transferable skill you can glean from it, whether it's sales, customer experience, copywriting, so that you can take it to your next job that you are super passionate about. So if you don't have any transferable skills, then it might be a bad job.
Nice. Beautiful. What is your favorite TV show?
Great question. I love some of the sci-fi sort of TV shows that are on Netflix. I loved the OA and Sense8.
Ooh, lovely. I was watching Sense8.
And Dark.
Sorry, what was it?
Dark. It's like a German show, but it's subtitled in English. Beautiful concept. I love how every character is intricately connected to the other character, and it forwards the story. But these 3 ones, highly recommend.
All right, you heard it, folks. Check them out. Question number 4. What is the thing you're most afraid of?
Ooh, you're going deep. I'm most afraid of abandonment, in the sense of not feeling welcome in a tribe. I think that's the fear that all humans have, because as caveman, if you were excluded from the tribe, it means that you died, right? And so that has been my fear all throughout my life, which is why in my own podcast and my own community, I make it a point to make people feel welcome in my own tribe, no matter where you're from, what your gender is, what your community is, what your nationality, or maybe your status level. You will feel welcome, because I don't want people to have that fear that what I have.
Nice, beautiful. Thank you for that. And I want to commend you for being vulnerable, because for those who are listening, they probably understand in vulnerability there is power.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Next question is, which celebrity annoys you?
Annoys me? Can I be honest?
Yes, totally.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Ooh, okay. We're not going to get you to explain, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Next question is, what is the most interesting thing you have in your wallet?
In my wallet? In my wallet, I have... So what I do is I make these cards, these small cards, and I write down my goals on that. Stuff that I may not have accomplished yet, but something that I really want to do in the near future. And so I write it down, so that I keep it in my wallet, so that whenever I have an opportunity, I open it and remind myself of what is it that I'm working towards. And one of the goals is that I want to be a digital nomad and travel around the world, see things rather than accumulate possessions. I want to start a family. I want to get this car. Stuff like that is what I have in my wallet, and that is more priceless, in my opinion, than the money that I might or might not have.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And I'm going to highlight something, folks. I don't know if you heard that, but he wants to start a family. I don't know if you have someone right now, but if you don't, AJ's the guy to check out. I mean, this is an interesting man to have in your life, all right?
Thanks.
And sorry if you're already taken, but anyway, I'm not going to go further with that one.
I am actually attracting my soulmate, so, doors are open.
Okay, well, there we go. You heard it, folks. Next question. If you could get a yacht, what would you call it?
Ooh, I love your questions. You know what I would call it? The word that's coming in my mind right now is inspirare.
Really? Beautiful.
It's a nice name for a yacht. Somewhere
very fitting.
In South of Italy or somewhere, blue waters, Amalfi Coast. Is that in Italy?
Yeah, hosting your breathwork workshops on the boat, right?
Exactly.
Ooh,
Organic
there we
food.
go. And finally, last question. What is your lifelong dream?
Well, I've got multiple dreams, but one of my dreams definitely is to start a school where children are taught skills that they're not necessarily taught in conventional school, like meditation and listening to your intuition, financial skills, how to build your wealth in the future, entrepreneurship. Just a very open-minded school where a child gets to follow his or her own path and plan for life. And also a core component of that would be breathwork, hypnosis, some juicy stuff. So that's one of my goals.
Nice. Oh, I love that. Actually, it resonates with me because I had that same vision, to open up a center or a school to teach the stuff that is unconventional, right?
If you start a school, I'll be a teacher. If I start a school, you be a teacher.
Right there. All right, agreed. You heard it, folks. Contract made. All right. That's all the time we have for today, folks. If you want to contact AJ, I'm going to leave his info in the description below. And I want to thank you again, AJ, for joining us. It's been such a pleasure. And thank you for sharing all your knowledge.
Yeah. And I just wanted to end by saying, it takes one to know one. We've had multiple conversations before, and I can sense how you come from a space of caring. You're an authentic leader. You're vulnerable. And yeah, I just appreciate what you're doing, man. Like all the stuff that you're doing. The videos that you put out is just not videos, it's quality. And it takes a lot of work and dedication, passion, and going beyond your resistance. So appreciate what you're doing. And thanks a lot for having me on the show.
Of course. That means so much to me, AJ, especially from a man who's made such a huge hit podcast. Saying it to me, small little creator just like myself. So thank you.
I'm small. I'm just growing. I'm just starting out,
All right, well, let's get this. Thanks again, AJ, and I will catch you soon.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
See ya. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. Alex here. If you enjoyed this episode on Breathwork with Aditya Jaykumar and want to support me, please go to coachalexlin.com. There you'll find more podcast episodes, how to join an exclusive Facebook group of amazing storytellers, and a ton of other resources for coaches and entrepreneurs. You'll also be able to learn more about coaching and how to work with me one-on-one. If you gain some value and want to support me on my mission to transforming the lives of 1,000 people, you can either search for Connect the Dots on iTunes and leave a rating, or simply subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can enjoy, like, and share my videos. So thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.